So as a lot of you know, my grandfather passed away last week. We had the funeral. To be honest, I wasn't as emotionally affected as I thought I was going to be. Right now, I have one grandparent left, and that was the thing that emotionally affected me more than the very fact that he passed, in a sense, because I didn't really know him that well. The vast majority of the time that I've spent with him was within the past year or so. And I'm 26, 25? Ooh, I'm 25. No, I'm 26. How old am I? Anywho, it's been the vast majority of my life I have not dealt with my grandfather. This isn't to say that I don't have any love for him or I don't have any regard for him. I do. He was a great man, very loving, very caring, funny. He was a good dude. And so when he passed, I was really hurt for my aunts, and I was really hurt for my father. They lost a parent. And so my aunts, if you know them, they're the most loving, caring people that you'll ever meet. And they really had to go through a lot this week, well, last week. And I just wanted to be there for them emotionally because I really do care about my family. If you know me, I'm extremely family oriented. And so even if this death didn't emotionally impact me as much as like the death of my mother would, nevertheless, it stung. It stung emotionally to me. I didn't cry when I heard, and I didn't cry at the wake, and I didn't cry at the funeral, but my entire focus was being there for my aunts in this really hard time. I do miss my grandfather, don't get me wrong. But after a while, I just started to think, what if my grandfather didn't go to heaven, or doesn't go to heaven? And so I don't think people think about this enough. Can you really have worthwhile happiness without the people that you love also obtaining that worthwhile happiness? And I'm really beginning to doubt that I actually can. And so I've come to the conclusion that if my grandfather or anybody that I care about goes to hell for eternity, then heaven actually turns out to be the very thing that I spent the vast majority of my life avoiding. It would turn out to be hell. You know, I've realized that, you know, there's phrase, and it says that everybody is a universalist at a funeral. When it comes to our loved ones, we don't want to think about, or we don't even want to entertain the reality that some of our family members may have not lived the life that they should have, or didn't believe the things that they should have, probably renounced their faith. I have plenty of family members who have. All I'm saying is that I'm beginning to recognize an intuitive sensitivity to death and to people who die from the vast majority of Christians, where the assumption almost always is that that person is resting in peace, or that that person is now enjoying happiness in the next life, that that person is now meeting Jesus. Or in other words, if we don't say that, we would say, we don't know where this person went. We don't know how this person's life went. Maybe you had a deathbed conversion. I think it's extremely telling that we don't like to talk about hell. And we don't like to talk about the very fact that some of our family members, if the traditional view is true, actually went there and are actually going there. Well, as a Universalist, I don't have to tone down just how bad hell will be for people who choose not to embrace Christ in this life. Because it really is going to be an extremely painful, and people are going to suffer, but all for a purpose. And it's all for a corrective one, for a corrective purpose. It's not purely retributive. If my grandfather is in hell, if the traditional view is true, if my wife ends up there, if my mother ends up there, I will have to be there too. Because I couldn't be 100% happy. I couldn't have what Richard Swinburne calls supremely worthwhile happiness in heaven without the people that I love. These people form my identity. They are what makes me me. And to lose one of them is to lose all of me. And for them to lose me is to lose all of them. I think people need to give Universalism a lot more time than they tend to. It's a solution, and it makes sense of the problem of personhood. It makes sense of how could we be supremely worthwhile happy in heaven without our loved ones. Maybe we need to start taking those apparent universalist texts in the Bible seriously. Maybe we need to discontinue explaining them away because of these apparent eternal conscious torment texts.